Hey, in this video I'll share a little about licensing and why it's so difficult. And I guess pricing is the same. So at business school, one of the things we were often looking at was if you're going to sell the sausage, you would be able to charge X amount of crowns or US dollars for it. And it was fairly simple because there was full competition, so everybody would know what the price of the sausage would be, which is good. So you could charge a little more, a little less than the competition. But in a B2B setting, it's a little more fun. So for my testing tool, we have been looking at some of the different mechanisms around it and what's going on there. So in a B2B environment, the way people are purchasing new stuff is to look at a business case. They would say, okay, if we can implement something like this, it will cost us X, or it will save us X thousand dollars. So let's say $1 million for implementing something or doing something. And then if I'm a vendor that can provide it, I'm able to charge $999,000 US dollars for it, and you'd still make $1,000. Probably you want a bigger return on investment than just 1 per mil or something like that. So there would probably be a bigger gap in the value versus the cost of the implementation because of uncertainty, because no one really knows what's going on and if it will be successful. So, and there would always be other opportunities that companies need to look into and see, well, this may be a better value for money and opportunity to do these different things. And obviously we've done the same. We have created a business case that shows implementing our testing tool would lower your costs dramatically, and there will be a return on investment for about a year or something like that, depending on your scenario, how much you test and stuff like that. But then I've been looking at different ways to optimize this and make our testing better, and some of the things that I've gotten into is a bit interesting. So obviously you want to make sure, if you know that this process that you're dealing with costs $1 million US dollars, you want to find a proxy that matches it as good as possible. So customers would know, okay, if we deal with this, if we have this many incidents, it will cost us this much. So there's a direct correlation between the two things. So and if you have a customer that has the same process and it will save them 2 million, you will then be able to charge twice as much or whatever for your service. So the goal is to find a good proxy for it and a good way to figure out how to deal with these different things. In the beginning with PI, they were using a number of gigabytes you transferred monthly, and you would pay, I can't remember if it was paid in blocks of 50 gigabytes of per month of data traffic. Now it's based on CPU, so the bigger number of cores you have, so the bigger system you purchase, the more you have to pay for getting all of these different things. And obviously in all of these cases, customers request you get the list price, and then you need to be able to get a good discount on the tool and everything like that, because then everything think, hey, we're doing a good job, we got 50% on the list price or whatever. Then there's some things that's a bit challenging. So if we're saying, hey, we're selling our test in blocks of 1,000 test cases, and each test would save 5 minutes, then we could charge and a cost per test would be $5, then we could charge $2.50 per test case, or $2,500 for blocks for these blocks. And that would be good, because customers would know every time I press test, I know it costs this amount, and it's saving me the same thing. But then that would obviously have some undesirable consequences, that you'll not test as much and you'll just be on the back burner. So that would not be really a good testing or a way to deal with it. So then we have been looking at some of the different features that we have, and created different tiers of our tool. So we got one tier that has some feature, we got another that has some more features, and so on. And each of these may have different number of test cases you can perform and use. So that is a proxy for how much you can use and where the number of users are. So that is a way you can deal with it and say, okay, we got a lot of users on this and they're using it a lot, so we need to get the bigger license for it. So you need to figure out what are the features that makes people want to go for the bigger one, but also have the options for all the ones in between. Then there's also the question about how to get right now we have existing clients, and we want to make sure that they are not dissatisfied with what we have created, because we're providing some licenses that may be cheaper and they could potentially have used. So we want to make sure that they are satisfied with what they got and the new license that we're converting them into. So that's a little fun trying to make sure it works. And then, obviously we have to figure out, so how do we do the price and how do we set the discount and which price do we disclose or not? Because we have one price that we want to disclose, because obviously this is an intro level price and we want to see, okay, so how much does this cost? And also I know if I'm looking at something and I can see I don't know the price, it's always, I have to ask, and it's like, okay, now at least you know what are the price of this, and then we can always go to some of the other ones and share the price of those with you on a call or whatever we want to do. So that is a little of my thoughts about licensing. It's a little complicated and I'm not really sure what to do here. So yes, that is the goals. Thanks for watching. If you have any thoughts on something I was missing out and some way to make licensing easier to understand and what are the good way to do it, then let me know in the comments. I would really appreciate if there was something that has the end goal and saying, hey, we want to do this. And obviously we could create free tools, but then I guess it will be difficult getting time to develop it, and there will be a lot of other opportunities to do more things and earn more and have a bigger impact. So do let me know in the comments what to do about licensing, how to make it better. Thank you.